Good morning to you. Today, uh, we will do the last chapter in costing, standard costing. So, I will try to explain as to what this is in a very simple way, and then we will start understanding it uh, for the sake of doing the problems. That's why some amount of theory you need to read from the material as to what is it. I'll just briefly explain. So, here what you need to all this while we were actually trying to measure actuals, right? Now, say for example, you're studying. Now, you are studying for a couple of hours, whatever, a couple of hours of 5 hours, 10 hours, whatever. Whenever your mother or father is coming and asking you, say, I'm studying 10 hours or something. Now, what happens? They are not able to measure you in the sense that whether you are studying properly, not properly, and things like that. Or is it enough? Or is there anything to be checked whether the study is not okay and whether there is a correctional step? Therefore, they ask you, okay, beginning probably a month or today they asked up to the date of exam, how many hours you are going to study. So when they ask that, you as a person, obviously, even if I was in your position, I will never commit to it. I will never commit, I'll study so many hours, right? I'll see, what I'll say, I'll say, I will try to say, I'll tell you so many things. Even today we do that for various reasons. We'll never commit. If we commit, what happens? Suppose you say, I will study for 10 hours. That becomes your standard. That becomes your standard. Now, each day when you are studying, they are going to monitor one day 9 hours, one day 11 hours. So there is a benchmark to compare this, right? So this is 10 hours standard. So you have put 10 hours and some 6 hours. Immediately what will happen? There will be a knock on your head. You know what has happened? You said standard of 10 hours and now you're not performing. That's precisely what we are doing in this also. So the idea behind, so whenever there is a standard set, obviously you don't feel like setting a standard, but always it is better to set a standard, because if you set a standard, you can monitor your actuals and do corrective steps. That's the idea actually. So if you're not in the track, you can be said, no, 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 you have to see, even if you study on your own. I just give an example of your father or mother controlling you, but I'm saying even ourselves, when we do, we try to make a you know um, plan, right? So based on that plan, I will study this in the morning, this in the morning, this in the morning. Why? Because that's the reason you are setting up a standard. Now when you set up a standard, what happens is that then you can monitor your actuals. You are monitoring your actuals. Is it clear what I'm saying? Therefore, if there is anything that is not happening as per the standard, then you know that you need to take corrective action. This is exactly what we do in standard. The purpose of standard costing is only this, nothing else. Now, here only one thing that you need to understand. Now, you are studying for your intermediate exam. Please take care. This is very important. You are studying for your intermediate exam. It needs a standard of 15 hours study. I'm just giving an example. But you set a standard of 10 hours. What is going to happen? Your calculation, or your every time you are going to fall short, and every day you are going to say not enough, not enough, not enough. At the end, what will happen? You will not get the desired results, which means your standard setting process was wrong, because you set it for your foundation exam. You set it for your foundation exam. The same logic applies in standard costing. When you are setting the standard, standard should be for the purpose for which you are doing. So in standard costing, you have to understand that there is an input. We are talking about in standard costing the input, that is the raw material, etc. That's what it is. And there is an output, right? Output to what? This the output is this your intermediate exam. But if you set it for output for your foundation exam, naturally your standard setting itself is wrong, and obviously you will not get the desired results. Your calculation, your everything will not be correct. So same logic in standard costing. What they are saying, when you set the standard, you should set it for a actual output. What is the actual output that you desire? For that you have to do the standard setting. If you do the standard setting for a standard output, then it is totally wrong. That standard doesn't exist. With a standard, you know, standard amount for quantity for standard output. Now, mind you, these are all we are talking about the raw material, the input, raw material. All standards are for raw material. Like, for example, what is your result? Your result is your CA exams. Which exam? Intermediate exam. But if you set it for foundation, it is totally not relevant for the actual that you're doing. So this is where we need to understand that standard setting should be always for the actual output. What is the actual output that you're going to for that standard? You set a standard for a standard output, it is not going to work out, and your variance. So what difference that you corrective step, the difference is called the variance cell. So therefore it is also called, this is also called, the difference that you called is also called variance analysis. So your variance analysis, why do you have to do take corrective step? So variance analysis also goes wrong. As a result, your corrective steps also will go wrong. Ultimately, you will not get the desired results. So with this example, you will be able to understand what I'm talking about. So for intermediate exam, you have to set the standard. Intermediate exam is the output. For that output, you set the standard of 15 hours per day. But if you don't take this output, you take some standard, some other output and put it here, it will all go wrong. Or rather say, not for foundation. Suppose you put it for final and you set up, I'll study 20 hours a day. What will happen? Every day you will fail, because this is not for final. You will not reach that stage, so you will not be able to reach that element. So that's how I'm just trying to explain. So again and again I'm going to tell you standard quantity for, I'll write again. So what we need to understand is, when we are doing standard, we always make standard quantity or standard hours for actual production. With this we compare actual quantity, then only you get variance. This is something which you need to be very careful and understand it. So this is what is important. Actual is not a problem. Similarly, this is standard quantity. Similarly, there is a standard price. There is actual price. This also can vary. So therefore, when we do the analysis, we are trying to find out where all it has gone different, where all it is different. This is what we try to understand. Now, in the variance analysis, these are the ways you need to mainly three: material, labor, overhead. Right. So under material, you got, what are the things? One second. So you are going to analyze these variances. These are These are called cost variances. Under material, you got material price variance. Please copy this down. Material, because all these we are going to look at. These are the details of the variances. Detailed one. Material volume variance or material usage variance. Under material usage variance, there are two bifurcations. Material mix material yield variance. This material mix variance and yield variance will come only if there is more than one raw material being used. Otherwise, it will not come. Here it is like price variance, direct labor rate variance. Rate variance. I'm not writing variance again and again. Direct labor efficiency variance. Please copy it down because we are going to look at all these items. This efficiency has three parts. Direct labor gang variance. Second one, direct labor time variance. Direct labor yield variance. Now come to overheads. Overheads has got mainly two types. First one is variable overhead variance and fixed overhead variance. Fixed overhead, don't get mixed. Variable overheads, fixed overheads. Variable overhead, please write fully here. Variable overhead, please write fully. Has got two parts. One is variable overhead expenditure variance. Variable overhead efficiency variance. Fixed overhead, I'll write it in the next place. Please complete it and tell me, then I'll write it in the next page.
Done. Done.
Done.
Done, sir.
So this one I'm just writing in the next page so that it's you can continue doing at the bottom, because I don't have space. That's why I'm writing. You can write, continue it. So fixed overhead variance is again fixed overhead expenditure variance. Expenditure variance. Fixed overhead efficiency volume variance. Sorry. Volume variance. This volume variance is again bifurcated into three: fixed overhead calendar variance, fixed overhead capacity variance, fixed overhead efficiency variance. Once you do it, confirm, then I will go next.
Done.
Done?
Done, sir.
Done.
Aparna?
Done.
Okay. Now, my question is, what is the purpose of business? Objective of business, not purpose, objective. What is the objective of business? What is the objective of business? Venus? Why
To
do you do
earn
business?
profit.
Maria?
Profit maximization.
Why do you do business?
Profit
Make profit.
maximization.
Make profit. Right. Now, when you are not making profit, that is where you need to do these analysis, right? Now, profit can be, how can you get profit, more profit, or you can analyze the profit? How do you can analyze? Now we saw cost, we saw where cost all, we can find out where there's a problem in cost. What is the other side? What is the other way of, what are, where it can be again a problem apart from cost, where there can be a problem? Venus? In order to get the profit or realize the profit that we want, we are now finding out it has not got the profit what we want. Therefore, we analyze cost, and that's how these variances we've seen. What else you have to see? Analyze it. Why it has gone wrong? Venus, if you want to make profits, what are the components? How do you get profit? Cost is one factor. What is the other factor?
Mm,
Is it only by looking at cost you can make profits?
Price.
Price. And what is it? That price is what here? The
see.
sales, right? The sales. Therefore, the variance in price is one of the factor in sales. So therefore, not only that we have to do cost variances, we have to also look at sales variances. So both are important. Therefore, sales variance is two parts, two types: sales sales margin variance, margin variance, and sales value variance. That is two types of methods. It's not that these are segregated into that. Two types of calculation. So sales value variance is on the value, that is only on the margin. This is again segregated into sales value price variance. This is what you just now told me, Maria. Because this is price, we have to see why there is a, if there is a problem in price. Sales value volume variance. Please write down. This volume variance is again segregated into two parts. One is sales value mix variance, sales value quantity variance. Similarly, this one is also divided into sales margin price, sales margin volume, and sales volume is divided into sales margin mix variance, sales margin quantity variance. So all the same, except that it is sales margin, sales value. This is the total value, this is only the mix. Tell me when you're finished.
Done, sir.
Okay. But be careful, you have to write the sales margin variance, SM. Say, always write, don't write SM, sales margin variance you have to write. Here, sales value variance. Don't write sales variance, that is wrong. Okay? All are same, see, it's all same. Price, price, volume, volume, quantity, quantity, mix, mix. Okay? Once you're finished, let me know.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Okay. So let me now let us look at now material. Okay, assuming that there are two materials, then what happens? Two materials and what then? So the way we write the formula, we have to find all those things, right? The way we write the formula, mind you, this is nowhere in your textbook. It is only to write the formula what I'm writing. So you can't get it in any, it's not a theory or such or any concept. It's only to help you write the formula properly. What am I going to do? SP is standard price, AP is actual price. SQ is standard quantity, RSQ is standard revised standard quantity, AQ is actual quantity. So I'm going to write like this. That's why the way I have written SP SQ, SP RSQ, SP AQ, AP AQ. Now AP AQ is actual price, actual quantity into actual price. This is price. What are the variance that we have seen? This is price. Price variance. This one is yield variance. That means you have to calculate all this separately. Yield. This is mix variance. So this is volume variance. This is total variance. Please write down. Please copy it. Total cost. Mind you, this has got nothing to do with our, you know, any text or something. It's only a way to understand and calculate it. So in a problem, in a problem, given problem, we have to first find out these components. Please write down, then I will tell you. Please write down.
Done, sir.
Yeah, done. In any given problem, you have to find out SP, AP, SQ, RSQ, AQ. If you are able to find these, then you can just multiply this and fix the figure and calculate it. Mind you, RSQ will come only if two raw material, we are talking of materials, right? Two material, two this thing, this is the material variance. This is material variance, material cost variance, right? This one. So if two more than one are involved, then only RS will come. Otherwise, RSQ will not be there. RSQ will not be there. And if more than two materials are concerned, when RSQ has to be calculated, RSQ is nothing but, so therefore, when two materials are concerned, you will have to calculate this separately for material A and material B separately because they are different. What is RSQ? Suppose this is 50 quantities and this is also 50, or this is 60 and this is 40 actual quantity. So total is how much? 100. And the standard mix is 1:1. Therefore, what is RSQ? RSQ is nothing but actual quantity in standard mix. That means RSQ will be 100 in the ratio 1:1. Therefore, it will be 50 and 50. This is RSQ. This is RSQ. That is, RSQ is nothing but actual quantity in standard mix. That is what is RSQ. Okay. Now, when you do this, when you calculate this, how I have to find it? How you have to find it? You have to calculate for material A. What is the formula? SPSQ, SPRSQ, SPAQ, APAQ. This is how you have to write it first. And for material A, you have to find this. Material B, you have to find it. Take the total. So this will be the total. With this, you have to do the variance, mind you. Generally, it is like that. Independent material, you don't have to do. Therefore, this you have to do the mixing. So all both material A and material B mixed together, you have to do the variance normally. But in the problem, sometimes they may have given only this. Mix variance for this only they may have. From there, you have to utilize it and calculate it. So that's how you need to do the problem. Okay. So now 5 minutes left. You can try problem number 1 and problem number 2 only relating to. So let me go to the problem. I've given theory and all, whatever, you can read it later. Whatever I'm talking about is their theory. This is the first problem. A manufacturing concern which has adopted standard costing furnishes the following information. Standard quantity of material 70 kg of finished goods 100 kg. Standard price 1 per kg. Actual output 2 lakh 10. Materials 2 lakh 80. Actual cost of material 2 lakh 52,000. Material usage variance, mix variance, cost variance. Why? Because only one material is used. Therefore, these ones are not there. Try to understand. Because two materials are not there, this breakup is not there. This is not there. Therefore, we are getting A to C only and this only. This is not there. This is not there because RSQ will come only more than two materials are maintained. Here only one material is maintained. So you have to write SPSQ only for material. This is not there. Therefore, RSQ will not be there. As a result, B will not be there. B point will not be there. Therefore, you have to find only volume variance and your price variance and total cost variance. This is what in the problem also they have asked you to. In the problem also they have asked you to do material usage variance, that is volume variance, price variance, cost variance. Is it clear? So please try it out. And for problem 2, this is a problem 2. There more than two materials are concerned. I want you to just calculate these items. In the second problem, I want you to calculate these items. SP how much, AP how much, SQ how much, RSQ how much, AQ how much. That's it. We'll do the things later on. But for problem number 1, you can do it. It's not a problem. For second problem, you have to calculate this. Like this only you write and try to fill up the figures. Then we'll come and discuss that. Okay.